All right, welcome back. So in this video, we're going to talk about one of my favorite tools in Photoshop, the Lasso Tool. So first, we're going to grab the Lasso Tool, and I'll show you how this works. So the idea behind this is it's kind of like a selection tool, right? So you can go like this, you can come up here, you can go around, okay, my beautiful face there, and then bring it back down. And then you're going to look for the little circle. Let's see if it does it. Come on, where are you? Where are you? I'm trying to connect this. There you go. So what I did there is I selected kind of a weird selection. So let's deselect this. Control D, and we'll do this again. So what you're going to do is it's kind of a free form selection tool. Okay, so I can select all of that, and if I hit delete, I go bye-bye. If I undo that with Control Z, I stay there. Now, the other way we can utilize this tool, which is really cool, it takes a little bit of practice and not my steady hand here, but what you can do is I can go here and down and come back. Okay, and I can hit delete. Okay, so I can remove part of the background with that. And I can come up here and do the same thing, which I'm kind of getting a little wild here. But let me try this in this corner, and then come over here and down. And like I said, this is why, like in the previous video, I used the marquee tool for this part, the rectangular marquee tool, because it's a square background. So you don't really need the lasso tool for this specific part, but you would use it for this. Like when you're going to go here and do kind of the touch up, which I'm just kind of rough. Let's not cut my beard off. Okay, and then if I come back here with my rough thing here. So like I was saying, you can use the lasso tool to kind of cut around here and really cut out some of the tighter edges here. Like if I zoom in. So what I did is I hit the Z key here. So if you hit Z, let me just right click on that so you can see it. So the letter Z, and then you can zoom in with that and then just click in. And so if we hit L, which is for the lasso tool, we can go in here and we can really go close, and you can see I'm going to cut over, but that's all right for this example. And we can cut back here and come up and back around and right here. And then there you go, and then hit delete, and it's going to cut off my ear. But again, when you zoom out, you're not going to be able to tell. But that's really what the lasso tool is for. Is it's more for touch up, getting real close on the edges, and then working inside of here and then deleting it. And that's really what I've used it for when I Photoshop stuff, is I use it specifically for that. And they're trying to not kill it off, but they have other tools that really do a better job of the same function. And so it becomes less and less used when they start making better tools. Darn you, Adobe. I'm just kidding. I think it's great what they're doing. So keep up the good work. But again, what you see here is if I grab the lasso tool, the letter L, and I do the same thing as we were doing before, we can make kind of a more of a defined edit when we're going to like block out this color right here, right? So if I zoom in, let's zoom out just a little bit so you don't, okay, there we go. And if I grab the lasso tool here, and we just draw kind of a tight oval shape, oval rectangular shape here. And then I do the brush. Okay, and let's do the eyedropper. So hit the letter I, and then drop that color, and then the B for brush. So that'll fill it in. And then when I zoom out, you can't even tell that I edited that, because it's a more tighter edit. It's a tighter touch-up where you can't really tell. Okay, you can tell there, but when I zoom out to here, unless you did the edit, you're not going to know, because, and that's the point. That's the key to a really good photo editor, is that you can't tell that it was photoshopped. That's what you want to get to. Like if you're just starting out, you're not going to be there right away, which is fine. But again, if I zoom in here, and I do the same thing here, and I do it even tighter than before, okay, and I just kind of hover over the colors that I want to block out, okay, and then we do the same thing. We grab the brush, and we do that, and then we zoom out. You can see it there, but when I go out far, that's more tellable than the other one. But the good thing is I can undo this. So if I undo, and then I use the eyedropper, not the brush, sorry. Hit I and for me, and then do the eyedropper, and then grab the brush with B, and then zoom out, and that should take care of it. And that does. Once you zoom out, you can't tell, okay, this is photoshopped, okay? Because again, when you get to the image, if it's on social media or whatever it's on, it's only going to be probably 50 to 100% or 33%. So you're not going to be able to tell what I've done with it. Now, what I want you to do is we're going to undo all of our changes here. So one way we can do it is hit Control Z until it goes back. Okay, the other way to do it is if I go to Window and I go to History, I can scroll all the way up to the top and click on Deselect. And what that's going to do is instead of having to do a Control Z 15 times or 30 times or however many times we edited, you just go right to the top of the history, deselect, and there you go. So we're going to save this. And now what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the Polygonal Lasso Tool. Okay, so this is a little different. So this is more of what the name of the tool is, Polygonal Tool. So this is, again, not really for this particular project here of photoshopping my face, my shirt, my hair, the background, etc. This is more for if you have a angular object that you need to create points with and go around like that, because this would not be easy to do with my face, really. I mean, you could try it. Let's just kind of, yeah, my head is too rounded to do this. But we could go like this. This is kind of funny. But what it basically does is it will create points. Everywhere that I click is a point. Okay, so we can make a square version of myself if you want. We could do my beard at least, because it's kind of like a diamond. Of course, I didn't do it right, but that's all right. You get the idea. And what you're going to do is when you close this up, to end the selection, you need to find this little circular item here. And then when I click, then it selects it. Okay, so that's the Polygonal Lasso Tool. Now, what I want to do is I want to click on Deselect. Okay, and I'm going to hit Control S to save just to make sure that we save it. And now we're going to talk about my favorite lasso tool, even more so than the lasso tool, the magnetic lasso tool. This is the best tool. When they first came out with it, I loved it, and I still love it. So if I left click and I hold, and I just drag this around, okay, and I'm just going to do kind of a rough photoshopping of myself. So if I go like this, and we go up and around, and again, you don't have to do this. You can just watch me do this. You can follow along if you want. Try it out. Don't worry if you mess up. That's always part of the learning curve. Okay. So what you can see here is what it will do is it's magnetic. So what it's going to do is it's going to find the pixels that you're working with, and it's going to attach itself to those pixels. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of go crazy here. Whoops. Whoa. And so it can get kind of out of hand if you don't maintain control. And what you're looking for is that little circle right next to it for the selection tool. Now, if I hit delete, let's see how I did. Come on, man. Let's do it here and then hit delete. Okay, there we go. Make sure you have layer 0 selected. I'm going to hit Control D to deselect. And you can see that's a pretty clean, around here anyway. Up here, you know, my hair is kind of a pain. So that's a little more of a touch up, and really you got to get in there and really delete everything, which you don't want to use the lasso tool for this. This is more of a, like this tool. I'm not going to get in depth, but the magic eraser tool is really what that's for. Because you can just go in and kind of erase certain ones. Okay. Now, I'm not, like I said, I don't want to get into too much detail with this because we're going to talk about this later in the course. But the reason why I would use that tool instead of the lasso tool is, you know how hard that would be to like do this? You'll be here all week trying to, you know, go like this. Okay, and it won't even let me do it. See, the magnetic lasso tool is similar to the polygonal lasso tool where it bases it off of points. Now, you could do it in certain areas to touch it up, to get the white out of my hair so that you can add your background in there. But the idea here is that you can see how crisp this is. I goofed up here, but look at how nice this edge looks. Okay? I messed up a little bit there, over there. And here, it's clean. Okay? There's a little white there, but again, that's just touch up, and there's a lot of tools that we can use to touch that up. Okay? And then down here, if I look at this, and so one way to tell here is if we go to the layers panel and we make a new layer and we put it below the image, right? And I click on the default colors here, and then I just give it a black background, okay? That really will tell you how we did, okay? So some people wouldn't like this and say, well, that's kind of tacky. Other people would say, well, you know, that's kind of a nice effect. And if you really wanted to add to that effect, I'll show you how to do that. So if we go to the effects panel here and we add stroke to my image and we go white, right? We can kind of get away with this effect because it was a white background. So that's a little too much, but you can see now we outlined my whole frame here, and it also did the bottom. So we'd have to fix that part. But the point is that you can work around this and make it work to your advantage if you really wanted to. So that's what you always got to remember. Okay, so I'm going to Control D that, or Z that, sorry, not Control D. And I'm going to erase the black layer here. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the marquee tool that we learned earlier, and I'm going to go up and delete here. Okay, and then we're going to go over and delete there, and then we'll go down and delete. Okay, so again, the magnetic lasso tool really is for getting around the edges here, and what its base premises is that it's creating points. So every spot on my beard, on my face, on my neck, everything that I'm doing, it's a point. So it's attracted to the pixels, and you can see the frequency here. Okay, so let me do this real quick. So you can edit the frequency. So what that's going to do is it's going to base it on the density of the color. So the higher you go with this, the more sensitive it's going to be. The lower you go, it'll be less sensitive, right? So we want to keep this as is. But again, the point of this is that if you want to really get tight on the edit and make it look as cool and as professional as possible, the easiest way to do it is like this. You just do small points, and it's a very tedious task and it takes a long time, but your product will look a lot better than if you just do long strokes like this, right? So we can go down here and then come up here, and then I can delete there, and then that will clean up anything else that we need to. And remember, there's other tools that we can use with this tool to really get this the way that we want it. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is we're going to go to the deselect save setting, and I'm going to do file save, and we're going to save this. And in the next video, we're going to learn about the object selection tool. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.